So this is my finding spring for paper three. Spring is very special to me. So this is definitely a paper that's very easy for me to talk about, and I'm happy to show what spring means to me on a personal level. So for my first picture here, this is a picture I took recently in North Carolina. And whenever I think of spring, I just think of trees, bright sun, water, kind of just being, in the wilderness. Because when you think of winter, it's usually something that's kind of more dark. It's snow, it's gloomy, the days are shorter. So like whenever I think of spring, we just had the daylight savings begin. I always think of the sun, just being out in nature, and enjoying just the beauty of the trees and the water and everything around me is something that I always think of when I think of spring. And it's something I definitely enjoy, being outside versus, during the winter you're just cooped up inside. You have that urge to go outside and just enjoy the beauty of everything going on, like the birds and seeing all the different animals and stuff around. So spring is something I always look forward to because it means that, the weather's starting to get warmer and it's starting to, be good enough to go outside. It's not like the summer where it's hot enough outside where you almost don't want to be outside, but it's something that's kind of special and that you kind of get to enjoy God's nature and the beauty of the world around you. For my next slide here, this is a picture of my sister and my mom last spring at my sister's graduation. And I chose this photo because when I think of spring, it's usually kind of at that point where you reach the halfway point of your semester to the end of the semester. So it's usually graduation time. You have a lot of graduations to go to, and that could be anything from grade school to high school to college. I've definitely been to a lot of high school and college graduations, because it's a special time for people to spend with their loved ones, spend time with your friends, and congratulate the person on graduating. Graduation's a big achievement. It's definitely a relief, and you're very happy as someone who has graduated on the work you put in to reach that point. So graduation's always something special. I definitely enjoyed. High school was different because I graduated during COVID, but I definitely enjoy all the high school grad parties and graduation ceremonies. Like my sister's last year, Notre Dame was really cool. We went there in May, and it was, they do a great job. So I was very happy to be able to attend that and see what goes on and congratulate her on her work. So spring is special because it means it's the end of the school year, and you kind of get to celebrate all the work you put in for the year. And so it's definitely something I look forward to every year, is seeing everyone happy and congratulating each other on the work they put in the past 9 months. For my next slide, whenever I think of spring, I always think of Easter. So this is a little bunny rabbit and some eggs. And Easter is kind of like Christmas. As someone who's very religious, it's kind of twofold, in the sense that there's the fun with Easter egg hunting. It's definitely something I loved as a kid. Spending time with family, eating a good breakfast, having fun, whether that be we'd always play golf because I'm more of a golfer, but there's plenty of fun things you can do with friends and family. But there's also the religious aspect. I remember when I was little, my grade school pastor always said Easter was his favorite holiday because it's a celebration of Christ's resurrection, and just that promise of salvation for all of our his believers and all the Catholics in the world. It's definitely a special holiday. So it's something I definitely included because it's something I always look forward to, and it's coming up here soon as we're in Lent. So it's definitely something on my mind. As a kid, it's very special from the candy aspect and stuff, and bunnies are cute, but I definitely more now appreciate just kind of as on a liturgical sense, Easter as kind of just a reminder of just on a religious level, just looking at myself. Lent's always a time of self-reflection on how I can better myself, and model my life more after Jesus and his salvation, and what sacrifice he made, and how I also can make sacrifice in my life to better myself and those around me. And so on my next slide, I'd like to kind of move into more, the fun activities of spring, at least that I consider. And when I think of spring, sports definitely pops up. Because usually when you think of winter, you just think basketball, and that's about it. I mean, I like hockey, but a lot of people don't. So, but spring, I always think of there's a lot of sports, because again, you get to go outside and kind of enjoy nature. So this was me last week over spring break playing golf. Golf is something that I always associate with spring because it's when the PGA Tour season really starts to kick in. And when I was in high school, the boys, we play golf in the spring as well, so that's our season. So it was something always on my mind just during like the high school year, all 4 years, and that you're kind of preparing yourself for this time of year. So I mean, it's definitely something that's special to me in the sense that it's always been a part of my life. And you're kind of tired at the end of fall, so golf isn't always, especially depending on you're playing at the end of fall, you're kind of tired with golf. Not that necessarily like I don't want to play it, but you're just been exhausted. It's a long season. But winter, all that time off gives you kind of the itch to get back out there and play. So the spring is always something I look forward to because it means I get to go outside and play golf, and also work as a caddy. Since I work at Omaha Country Club, I caddy, so it means I get to start working again and making money, which is nice. So I think this is a nice picture. Just kind of enjoying the outside, and you don't necessarily play well because you're kind of rusty, but it allows you to kind of take in more. Just the sense that you're back outside, you get to enjoy nature and play a sport you love. And so I'm kind of moving on with golf. This is a picture of the clubhouse. The clubhouse is kind of cut out, but the front entrance to Augusta National. And as a golfer, when I think of spring, I think of the Masters. And like if you watch any sports on ESPN over I'd say from New Year's to April, there's always Masters commercials, and it's kind of something to just always look forward to. It's the most prestigious event in golf. It's something that Augusta's just a pretty place. It's a pretty course, and it's in April, and it's kind of just at that peak point in spring where everything's starting to brighten up. And as a golfer, it's just something I look forward to watching every year. And you can't think of spring without thinking of the Masters. So. Especially with Tiger winning 4 years ago, it's definitely just a tournament that you enjoy on so many different levels, both from competing and just the atmosphere of itself. People just love watching the Masters. So just on a fan level, it's something I will always associate with spring. And outside of golf, I have this photo. This is from Wrigley Field last spring. I always think of baseball because while golf's my favorite, baseball is definitely my second favorite. And the baseball season starts always right at the end of March or beginning of April, and so I just love baseball. And it's kind of that it's definitely a summer sport, but I always associate spring with the kickoff because you kind of reach that middle point of summer where just baseball is kind of just it's on every day, but you always enjoy when things start at the beginning. So I just have to throw on this photo of Wrigley Field, which is a very cool place. I was lucky to go there last spring. Just taking in again the nature, being outside and watching a sport I love is definitely something I always look forward to and will always be special to me, especially as someone who works for the softball team here at Creighton. Very much enjoyed the fact that now I get to work outside because it means spring's here, and I get to enjoy kind of a nice atmosphere, and I love sports, and spring will always be associated with baseball to me. And lastly, this is a photo of me fishing. It's not the most flattering photo because it's from a while ago, but I always associate spring with fishing for some reason because, again, just being out in nature, one of the things I love to do is fish. And it's not a special fish. It's just a really big bluegill, which that's why I'm taking a picture of it because usually they don't grow that big. But I always find spring special, and that you usually can start fishing again. Which is nice because here in Nebraska, ice fishing is not the best because number one, we don't have a lot of lakes, and also it just doesn't freeze over much. So it's kind of, again, with golf, it's that withdrawal that you kind of get from winter where you just, you very much look forward to the opportunity to do some of that outdoor stuff again. And fishing is definitely up there with me as something I enjoy. So I had to throw in this photo. Again, I haven't had braces in years and everything, but it's something I always enjoy. And spring will always be special because, again, it allows me to start doing those outdoor stuff that winter keeps you from doing. And nature is definitely something I enjoy being outside, and I love working at a golf course because it means I get to be outside when I work. So yeah, any chance I can to be on a lake, on a river, on a creek, pond, whatever, fishing is definitely a time I enjoy. And it's very peaceful and it's very relaxing, and it gives you time to get away from technology that you largely spend time with during the winter. So that's why spring's special, and that it kind of allows you to clear your mind, get outside, and I've always felt the air is the clearest in the spring. So it's definitely something I always look forward to and find special. So thank you for watching my presentation.